Hello and welcome to Dan's ADV. This episode covers my recent 9-day, 3,000-mile trip from Tulsa, Oklahoma to the Ridge Parkway and back. If you're one of my subscribers who are only interested in the adventure bike segment and dirt roads, I understand that. Obviously, you'll want to skip this video, but please stick around my channel because that kind of content should be coming soon. Riding the Ridge Parkway has been on our bucket list for my wife and I for some time. I try to keep track of the top motorcycling roads in the United States, and the Ridge Parkway is consistently near the top of just about every list you'll find. And my wife loves to ride the Goldwing, so obviously that's the bike that we're on. I am going to talk about 3 specific things, and I'll put jump points in the description below, and then I'm going to let the footage play out over some royalty-free music to the end of the trip to just fully document it. First, I'll be talking about the Ridge Parkway as a road specifically. Then I'll talk about my Goldwing motorcycle, some of the modifications I've done, some of the other bikes that we looked at when considering a big touring bike. And then I'm going to talk about the tools I use to map out a big trip like this and get it into my Garmin. So if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's talk about the Ridge Parkway. So the Ridge Parkway is 469 miles long, and it runs through North Carolina and Virginia. As you can see from the footage, it's a 2-lane road with no shoulder. There are thousands and thousands of curves on this road, hills, hundreds of overlooks that are quite epic. And some of the unique things about this road is there's no stoplights, no stop signs, there's no stops of any kind where you have to stop for the entire 469 miles. There's no billboards, there's no gas stations, there's no restaurants. You really feel like you're just immersed in the forest. Every 30 to 60 miles, there'll be a small sign where there's an exit, but from that exit, you might find yourself in the middle of a city, or you might find yourself 15 miles from the nearest gas station. So you really have to plan ahead. But it is quite a unique experience to go that far and feel that secluded for the entire time. The road surface was really good for 90%. There are a couple sections that were a little rough. There were a couple sections that were under construction, so that we had to bypass. But the stuff that was open, 90% of it was really good. Another unique thing is there's no commercial traffic allowed, so you're not going to find semi-trucks or big box trucks on this. Obviously, as you can see from the footage, we were quite fortunate that there was not a lot of traffic, and I believe that's because we were not during peak season. If the leaves had been changing color, I can picture this road full of RVs and cars that would have been very frustrating. But as it is, we had the place to ourselves. The speed limit is 45 miles an hour. I clearly could push that a little bit with the lack of traffic, and that made it quite enjoyable. Now, I would caution, if you are going to take this road as a motorcycle road, that if you do take it in peak season, I don't have any experience with that. I have read some negative comments about doing this road, though, with any sort of traffic. It's double yellow almost the entire way. It's 45 miles an hour the entire way. So if someone is choosing to go that speed limit, it backs up, and then it becomes a real nightmare to get around. If you're a sport bike or hyper naked bike rider that really likes to push it, this is probably not the road for you. Clearly, I was on a Goldwing, and I had my wife, and we were doing a very leisurely ride, just enjoying the scenery, enjoying the weather, enjoying being on vacation, being out of the office, and all the things that go with just being on a relaxing ride. So that's the kind of mindset you come into this road with, then I think it would be a pleasurable experience. But if you come into it with the mindset of, you're really only enjoying a motorcycle when it's high revved and really flying through the corners, probably not the road for you. But I think there are roads all over this area that do cater well to that kind of mindset. But in any case, what I found this road for just a relaxing vacation road to enjoy the scenery, enjoy the motorcycle, enjoy being together on the bike. This is a great ride. So speaking of the Goldwing, we are on a 2008 model. I find it to be one of the best values in all of motorcycling, really. These used 2005 to 2015, even newer Goldwings can be had for somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000 to $13,000 with reasonable mileage. I've got mine a couple years back with only 15,000 miles on the bike, and the amenities that come at that price point you just can't find on another bike that I'm aware of. First of all, you have, of course, all of the luxury seating. My wife has armrest and a cup holder. The seats are both heated. There's heated grips. The luggage capacity on these bikes is, we were traveling for 9 days. We had multiple helmets for different weather conditions. The storage is all lockable. It's all built in. Cruise control, GPS, the list kind of goes on. We've got an extended windshield, and you can see the little fin right in the picture. I kind of regret that for the video's sake, but that little fin has us sitting in a perfectly still pocket of air that really makes for pleasurable riding when you're trying to just have no buffeting is what I'm trying to get, especially for my wife sitting on the back, to make it as pleasant of experience as possible for her so that she would want to ride again. So looked at other bikes. We did ride some BMW K1600s, and those are fantastic motorcycles. Obviously, they've got more horsepower, more passing ability and hot top speed, but they are slightly more cramped, and they don't have the wind protection, in my experience, of the Goldwing, and it cost a lot more. So as far as just getting a value bike that you can be incredibly reliable, I didn't have any worries on this trip that this bike was going to break down. It's only got 42,000 miles on it now, and there are people with 100,000, 200,000 and up Goldwings that are still going strong with very little maintenance. They just put oil and tires and go. So anyway, that's why we're on the Goldwing. It's not my only bike. I don't think I would want it to be my only bike, but for a bike that I can enjoy with my wife, that I don't have to have a whole bunch of money tied up in, it's I haven't been able to find anything else that meets all those criteria. So that's our 2008 Goldwing, and we love it. One of the things that we would change about the trip is how many days in a row we spent on the motorcycle and how many hours a day. I would recommend at the 4 or 5 day mark that you find a way to spend an entire day without the motorcycle, just to let your body recover. We did 9 days back to back with 6, 7, 8 hours a day on the bike. And it doesn't matter how comfortable the bike is, you can only take so much of one position before you just get tired. So it still was an enjoyable trip, but we felt like we pushed, and then when we got home we needed to rest quite a bit to just recoup, and we felt like we'd been beat up a little bit being that long on the road with no breaks. So that is one thing that we will change in the future on these vacations. So for trip planning, the coolest tool that I've found in a long time is the Rever.co website. I actually became a member through Cycle Gear, which is also Revzilla, which is also JP Cycle, to their kind of membership where you get discounts on their gear, but you also get a membership to Rever. And Rever, the website on the PC or the Mac desktop computer, is the best trip planning software interface that I have ever seen. I tried to use Garmin's Basecamp. I know lots of people have tried to use it. That is the worst piece of software I've ever seen. But Rever has a very intuitive interface. You can drag a start, and I'll probably go into this in another video in some more detail, but you take your start and your end points. Then you can turn on your Butler Maps. Butler Maps have been around for years with their printed maps with motorcycling roads, but in the digital form, you click some buttons in Rever and you turn on your G1, G2, G3 roads. And then you can drag and drop your route onto those amazing roads and then just export it to a GPX file. Then I put it in my Garmin and make a route out of that. So I have turn-by-turn directions the entire way that are taking me through some of the most epic scenery. We did hardly any interstate all the way from Tulsa to Athens, North Carolina, and then to start the Blue Ridge. And then on the way home, we took a very scenic, curvy, motorcycle-friendly route all through. Now, of course, it takes much longer to do that than it would if you just got on the interstate, but it's not nearly as nice. So that is the tool that I've found to be invaluable for planning trips on-road or off-road. The Rever website and then exporting to GPX and putting it in a Garmin is definitely the way to go. I could not have done this trip. Obviously, the Blue Ridge Parkway would have been easy, but to and from, getting great roads and being able to hit all the turns, there was no other way to do it, and I was thrilled with the outcome. So once again, I'm going to let the rest of this content just play out over some royalty-free music as I head home from the Blue Ridge Parkway, finish it up. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe. That helps me out. And I will catch you on the next video.